Listen carefully. Your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money. 4 forces, 4 weapons, 4 traps. Master them, and you rise untouchable. Fail, and you become food for stronger men. Most people destroy themselves before the world ever lays a hand on them. Their mouth runs reckless, spilling secrets, promises, and weakness. Their mind drifts, fogged with distraction and poisoned with doubt. Their mood swings, leaving them chained to anger, envy, or despair. And their money, what little they hold, bleeds away into empty pleasures, addictions, and vanity. This is why men stay powerless. They are ruled by what they should rule. They are slaves to their own impulses. And the cruel truth, no army, no tyrant, no enemy can break a man faster than his own undisciplined self. But you are not here by accident. You came to mental fort because you know softness is fatal, weakness is a disease, and control, cold, ruthless control, is the only cure. The moment you master these 4, mouth, mind, mood, money, you stop being a victim of circumstance. You become the architect of your fate. So mark your initiation. Comment this phrase right now. Control is power. Write it, own it, breathe it. 2. Control of the mind. The second battlefield is the mind. If your mouth is the sword, your mind is the general. Without command, the strongest army is useless. Without discipline, the sharpest mind destroys itself. Most men are prisoners of their own thoughts. They drown in overthinking, regrets from yesterday, fantasies about tomorrow. Their minds wander like drunken soldiers, chasing distractions, obsessions, illusions. A mind without control is not an asset, it is an executioner. To master your mind, you must become cold and selective. Choose your thoughts like a ruler chooses his advisors. Not every idea deserves your time. Not every fear deserves your energy. Ask, does this thought build me or does it weaken me? If it weakens, strike it down, ruthlessly. Feed your mind with strategy, not noise. Study power, study history, study human nature. Fill your head with timeless weapons, not fleeting gossip. The man who controls his focus controls his destiny. You cannot stop the storm of thoughts, but you can command which winds drive your ship. Train daily, direct your attention, guard it like treasure, for the world is designed to steal it. A Machiavellian mind is not positive. It is disciplined, calculating, untouchable. That is your edge. If you understand, comment this phrase: my mind obeys me. Let the weak surrender to distraction. You will rule your own head. And when you rule your head, you can rule anything. 3. Control of the mouth. The first battlefield is the mouth. Words are not just sound. Words are currency. Words are weapons. Words can crown you king or drag you into the gutter. The weak speak endlessly. They leak their plans, their fears, their emotions, their every thought to anyone who will listen, and every word becomes ammunition for someone else to use against them. Machiavelli knew this. Silence is strategy. A sharp tongue should be unsheathed only when the strike matters. Control your mouth, and you gain a cloak of mystery. People fear what they cannot read. They respect the man who does not explain himself, who does not waste his breath, who speaks only when the room must listen. Speak less, and every word gains weight. Speak carelessly, and your power evaporates. Do not argue with fools. Do not confess weakness. Do not reveal the depth of your ambition until it is too late for anyone to stop you. Instead, learn to ask questions. Let others expose themselves. Their vanity will do the work for you. In moments of anger, seal your mouth. One reckless sentence can destroy alliances, trust, or opportunity forever. In moments of triumph, still seal your mouth. Pride invites predators. Silence keeps them guessing. Your mouth should be a locked vault. When it opens, it must be with precision, with intent, with force. A lion does not roar all day. It roars once, and the jungle trembles. If you understand this, write it in the comments right now. My silence is my sword. Let the world chatter. Let them bleed their power through endless words. You will stand still, controlled, unreadable, until the moment you choose to strike. 4. Control of the mood. The third battlefield is your mood. Emotions are the strings by which most men are puppeteered. Anger, jealousy, despair, pride. These are the leashes the world uses to drag you where it wants. If you cannot master your moods, you will always be someone else's slave. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must appear merciful, faithful, humane, sincere, and religious. But behind the mask, he must be capable of the opposite when necessary. This is not hypocrisy, it is strategy. Your mood, like your mask, must be chosen, not dictated. Weak men explode when provoked. They rage, and in that rage, they reveal their plans, burn their alliances, and lose control. Others collapse into sadness, letting weakness rot their spirit. Some grow drunk on success, blind to the daggers waiting in the shadows. All are predictable, and what is predictable can be controlled. To become untouchable, you must become unshakable. Anger must be a weapon, not a reflex. Use it rarely, and only when it creates fear or obedience. Sadness must be strangled before it poisons your will. Pride must be cut before it blinds you. Joy must be restrained, for joy invites complacency. Control of mood does not mean becoming a cold machine. It means becoming the master actor. You feel emotion, but you decide if it is shown. You may burn inside, but your face stays calm. You may be tired, but your posture remains strong. Your mask is steel, your mood invisible, unless you allow it. This is how kings and generals bend men to their will. They never reveal the storm inside. They radiate command, they radiate certainty, and certainty enslaves the uncertain. Train this daily. In traffic, in arguments, in setbacks. Hold the mask. Each test is a sharpening stone. Each restraint builds your armor. A man who cannot be provoked cannot be controlled. A man who cannot be read cannot be manipulated. And a man whose mood is his servant becomes master of every room he enters. If this resonates, carve it into the comments. I master my moods. Let the weak howl and break. You will be silent, steady, immovable, like iron in a world of clay. 5. Control of the money. The fourth battlefield is money. Most men worship it. Few control it. And because they worship it, they are ruled by it. Money is not merely paper. It is leverage. It is freedom. It is the silent blade that cuts deeper than any sword. Machiavelli understood that fortune favors the prepared. Wealth is not about indulgence. It is about power. It funds your influence, your protection, your independence. It allows you to stand untouchable while others bend their knees for scraps. The average man spends to feel alive. He buys to impress. He wastes to numb the emptiness in his chest. His money owns him because his emotions own him. He thinks wealth is proof of status, when in truth, wealth is the weapon to secure status. He lives paycheck to paycheck, not because he lacks money, but because he lacks discipline. You must not be this man. Your money is your soldier. Every dollar must march with purpose. Every investment must sharpen your power. Do not waste resources on vanity, on trends, on fleeting pleasures. Spend with strategy, not impulse. Build reserves, not debts. The man with cash in hand controls the man who owes, and in a world of slaves to consumerism, the one who resists becomes king. Control of money is not greed, it is foresight. It is the understanding that freedom cannot exist without financial control. A man who cannot walk away from any situation is not free. A man who depends on another for survival is not safe. And a man who flaunts his wealth recklessly invites predators to feast. Learn to appear modest while building in silence. Let them see a simple man, while in truth you are constructing a fortress of resources. Machiavelli advised rulers to avoid hatred and envy. Flaunted wealth breeds both. Hidden wealth breeds invincibility. Your money must serve your vision, not your ego. Use it to buy time, to buy knowledge, to buy opportunities. Use it to protect your legacy, to guard against betrayal, to outlast storms. A man who controls his money never bows. He decides when to strike because he can afford to wait. Remember this: true wealth is not shown. It is felt in the power to say no, to walk away, to remain untouchable. If this lesson speaks to you, stamp it into the comments. My money is my army. Repeat it. Believe it. Discipline every dollar until it fights for you. Control your money, and you control your life. Fail to control it, and you will forever be a pawn in someone else's game. 6. The art of masks and appearances. Power is never just about what you are. It is about what you appear to be. Understand this. Reality is negotiable, but perception is law. The mask you wear will decide how the world treats you. Machiavelli taught that a ruler does not need to be merciful, faithful, humane, sincere, or religious. He only needs to appear that way. Why? Because people judge with their eyes, not with their reason. They are drawn to surfaces, not substance. The mask is the weapon that blinds them, distracts them, manipulates them. The weak scoff at masks. They preach authenticity, as if showing every flaw and emotion is noble. It is foolish. The man who exposes his raw self to the world invites attack. He is predictable, vulnerable, easy to dismantle. A man without a mask is a man without armor. Your mask must be crafted with precision. In public, you project what serves your purpose. In private, you remain who you truly are. The two are not the same. The mask protects the truth, and the truth, your real desires, your ambitions, your ruthlessness, stays hidden in the vault of your mind. When needed, you can appear humble to disarm envy, appear kind to win loyalty, appear harmless to lower defenses, or appear ruthless to create fear. The power is not in being all of these things. It is in choosing which mask to wear and when. The mask also protects your weaknesses. If you are uncertain, you never show it. If you are hurt, you never reveal it. If you are tired, your posture does not break. People follow certainty, not confusion. If you cannot command your emotions, then command your mask. For the mask becomes the reality others believe. Even allies must see only what you decide. Why? Because alliances shift. Today's friend can be tomorrow's rival. The less they know, the safer you remain. Let them underestimate you. Let them think they've read you. Meanwhile, you are always 3 moves ahead. But do not mistake mask for lie. A mask is not about deception. It is about control. You decide what face to show the world. You decide how they interpret you. That is true freedom. That is true power. Think of history's most cunning leaders. They all wore masks. Caesar appeared as a servant of Rome while plotting for dominion. Napoleon appeared humble while calculating conquest. Every great ruler, every master strategist understood that power flows not just from the sword, but from the performance. You too must become a performer. The stage is life, the audience is everyone around you, and your mask is the role you choose to play. The man who refuses the stage is forgotten. The man who plays it well becomes legend. Train yourself. In every interaction, ask, what mask serves me here? What mask disarms? What mask inspires? What mask intimidates? Then wear it until it becomes second nature. Never forget, you cannot control how people feel, but you can control what they see, and what they see becomes their truth. If this strikes you, seal it in the comments. My mask is my weapon. Write it so you remember it. Let others wander naked in a world of daggers. You will walk armored in illusion, untouchable, unreadable, undeniable. 7. The cold psychology of power. Power is not given, it is taken, and to take it, you must understand the psychology that governs human beings, not the surface psychology, the smiles, the pleasantries, the polite words. I'm speaking of the dark undercurrent, the brutal truths people are too weak to admit. This is the terrain of cold psychology. Here is the first law. People are driven by fear more than love. Machiavelli himself declared, it is safer to be feared than loved. Why? Because love is fragile, inconsistent, emotional. It fades with moods. Fear, however, is constant. Fear creates boundaries. Fear ensures respect, even when loyalty fails. To wield power, you must not chase affection. You must radiate a presence that demands calculation. If I cross this man, I will pay. The second law: people are selfish. Every action, no matter how noble it appears, serves an interest. Understand this, and you will never be surprised. Appeals to morality or fairness are illusions. The strong manipulate these illusions to control the herd. When you negotiate, when you persuade, when you command, always ask, what does this person want? How can I make their desire serve me? The third law: people believe appearances over reality. They would rather be lied to beautifully than faced with harsh truth. This is why masks matter. This is why perception matters. Truth is heavy, but illusion is seductive. A skilled player of power does not argue reality. He paints it. He makes people see what he wants them to see. And once they believe, their actions follow. The fourth law: people are predictable when emotional. Rage, jealousy, greed, lust. These are the levers that puppeteer the masses. If you can trigger emotion, you can control behavior. If you can remain unemotional while others burn with feeling, you will always hold the high ground. Cold psychology means mastering your own impulses while exploiting theirs. The fifth law: loyalty is rare and often temporary. People shift with advantage. Allies today may betray tomorrow if the wind changes. Never place blind faith in loyalty. Expect betrayal, prepare for it, and design systems that make betrayal costly. Keep people dependent on you, and their loyalty will endure. The sixth law: weakness invites attack. In the wild, predators strike at the wounded. In society, the same principle holds. Show too much vulnerability, and vultures will circle. This does not mean you cannot ever fail. It means your failures must never look like weakness. Even in loss, you must project control. The moment people sense you are breakable, they will test the cracks. The seventh law: manipulation is neither good nor evil. It is nature. Every advertisement manipulates. Every politician manipulates. Every relationship at some level manipulates. The question is not whether you will manipulate, but whether you will do so consciously or be manipulated yourself. Cold psychology demands awareness. You either play the game or you are played. And here lies the heart of Machiavellian thinking. Power is about control, of perception, of resources, of people, of yourself. But above all, it is about control of reality. To others, the world may seem chaotic. To you, it must be clay, shaped by your will. Do not confuse cold psychology with cruelty. It is not about needless harm. It is about strategy. A ruthless leader does not waste energy on petty malice. He chooses when to strike and when to stay still. His cruelty is precise, not sloppy. His mercy is calculated, not naive. He acts not from impulse, but from outcome. Imagine the power of becoming such a man. One who cannot be provoked, who cannot be deceived, who cannot be broken. A man who sees through others while remaining unreadable himself. A man who plays the game of power with a calm, steady hand while the rest flail in emotion and illusion. That is what cold psychology forges. If you have followed this far, etch it in the comments. I see through the game. Declare it. Because once you see, you can never unsee. And once you understand, you are no longer a pawn. You are the one moving the pieces. 8. The discipline of isolation and strategy. Power requires clarity, and clarity is impossible if you are drowning in noise, in endless chatter, in the constant pull of weak men and weaker distractions. This is why every man who seeks to become untouchable must master isolation. Not loneliness, not withdrawal, but disciplined, strategic isolation. Understand this. Most people fear being alone because solitude forces them to face themselves. And for many, what they see is weakness. They would rather hide in crowds, fill their silence with distractions, or numb themselves with trivial pleasures. But isolation, when embraced with discipline, becomes the forge of greatness. It is in silence that strategy is born. It is in solitude that focus is sharpened. Machiavelli observed rulers in their courts. He knew that while appearances and alliances mattered, the true strength of a leader came from his ability to think in isolation, to prepare when others rested, to design moves that no one else could anticipate. A mind always surrounded by noise cannot plan. A man always seeking company cannot rule himself. Discipline of isolation means creating space where no one else's voice drowns out your own. It means cutting the strings of dependency. It means being able to sit in silence with your ambitions, your calculations, your darkest truths, and not flinch. Because if you cannot command yourself in solitude, how can you command others in the arena of power? But isolation is not enough. It must be paired with strategy. Isolation sharpens the blade. Strategy decides where to strike. Most men wander through life reacting to events, scrambling after opportunities, living at the mercy of chance. A Machiavellian mind does not wander, it designs. Strategy is the architecture of power. It is the ability to see not only the next step, but the 10 steps ahead. Think of a general before battle. He does not merely charge. He studies the terrain, anticipates the enemy, calculates the weather, the morale, the supply lines. He knows that victory is not won in the clash of swords, but in the planning that happens before the first strike. Life is no different. Those who plan dominate those who drift. Your strategy must begin with brutal honesty. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What resources do you command? What enemies exist? What allies can be used, and how long can they be trusted? Ask these questions in your solitude and do not lie to yourself. A man who flatters himself is already defeated. Then, build your moves. Design your life as a chessboard. Where will you invest your time, your energy, your money? What alliances will you form? What appearances will you project? How will you adapt when fortune shifts? Because fortune always shifts. Machiavelli warned that fortune is like a flood. It cannot be stopped, but it can be redirected. Only the man with strategy survives the storm intact. Discipline of isolation also protects you from the poison of the crowd. The herd lives by impulse. They rage, they panic, they gossip, they waste. If you are too close, their chaos infects you. If you step back, you see patterns they cannot see. And from this distance, you can manipulate their energy while never being consumed by it. Do not mistake this for permanent withdrawal. Strategy demands engagement. But you must engage on your terms, not theirs. Enter the crowd like a king visiting his subjects, briefly, with purpose, always maintaining distance. Then retreat to your fortress of isolation to sharpen your plans. This is why great leaders, emperors, generals, visionaries, always had chambers, retreats, inner circles. They were never endlessly accessible. Their power depended on their ability to withdraw, calculate, and then return with decisive moves. You must model the same discipline. Remember this: a man who cannot stand alone will never stand above. A man who cannot plan in silence will never command in chaos. Isolation without strategy makes you a hermit. Strategy without isolation makes you reckless. Combined, they make you untouchable. If you understand this, mark your commitment in the comments. My isolation builds my empire. Write it, own it, because while the masses waste themselves in noise, you will retreat, design, and return with precision. Isolation is your shield. Strategy is your sword. Together, they ensure you never kneel, never drift, never bow. You will not be carried by chance. You will carve your destiny with cold calculation. And that, above all, is the discipline of the untouchable. 9. The final transformation: becoming untouchable. Everything we have covered, control of the mouth, mind, mood, money, mastery of masks, cold psychology, the discipline of isolation and strategy, leads here. Transformation, the forging of a man who is untouchable, not invincible, not immune to pain, but untouchable in spirit, in will, in power. What does it mean to be untouchable? It means you move through the world as an iron figure wrapped in shadows. Your mouth speaks only with precision. your mind obeys your command. Your mood bends to your will. Your money fights for you. Your mask confuses your enemies. Your psychology reads others like glass. Your solitude feeds your clarity. Your strategy ensures your dominance. 10. The call to power. This is the final step, the culmination of every lesson. The mouth, the mind, the mood, the money, the mask, the psychology, the isolation, the strategy, and the transformation. Everything converges here, the call to power. Understand this: the world is not built for the strong to rest. The world is built as a battlefield where the weak are consumed, manipulated, and discarded. Every day you wake up, you are either commanding or being commanded. There is no neutral ground. You are either the hunter or the hunted. And yet, most men choose slavery without realizing it. They talk without control, and their words betray them. They think without control, and their mind sabotages them. They feel without control, and their moods enslave them. They spend without control, and their money evaporates. They live maskless, naked before predators. They are pushed by fortune, crushed by chance, broken by the slightest storm. These are the men who cry, who beg, who gossip, who envy. These are the men forgotten. But you, if you've listened this far, you are not meant to be forgotten. You are here because deep down, you know softness is not your destiny. You know there is steel inside you waiting to be forged. You know the world respects only one thing: power, and you are ready to claim it. This does not mean parading yourself as some tyrant. Power is not about screaming or bragging or flexing to the crowd. That is weakness in disguise. True power is quiet. True power is control. It is the man who can walk into chaos and remain calm. The man who speaks little, but when he does, the room falls silent. The man who does not need approval because he approves of himself. The call to power is not just for kings and rulers. It is for every man who wants freedom. Freedom from manipulation, freedom from weakness, freedom from the endless chains of distraction, dependence, and defeat. To be untouchable is to be free, and to be free is to be powerful. The path will not be easy. You will lose friends who cannot understand your discipline. You will face resistance from those who benefit from your weakness. You will be mocked by the herd because your refusal to kneel threatens their comfort. But remember this: the lion is not disturbed by the barking of dogs. Stay the course. When you falter, return to the principles. Control your mouth, control your mind, control your mood, control your money. Wear the mask, study cold psychology, embrace isolation, build strategy, transform yourself. Do this daily. Incremental control leads to absolute power. And here is the truth: most will not make it. They will listen, nod, maybe even comment, but they will not live it. Discipline is too hard, comfort is too easy. They will fall back into weakness. But you have a choice. You can step beyond them. You can take these lessons and carve yourself into a weapon, a fortress, a ruler of your own destiny. So I ask you, what kind of man will you be? Another pawn in the crowd, endlessly distracted, endlessly consumed, or the one who rises above, untouchable, unforgettable, undeniable? If you are ready, claim it now in the comments. I answer the call to power. Write it as a declaration, as a contract with yourself. And remember this: power is not a dream. Power is not a gift. Power is built brick by brick, choice by choice, discipline by discipline. Start today. Start with silence. Start with control. Start with one decision that proves you are no longer weak. This is mental fort. This is your training ground, your forge, your initiation into a life most men will never taste, but only if you act. So before you go, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This fortress is being built stronger every day, and you are part of it. Now step forward. Discipline yourself. Harden yourself. Mask yourself. Strategize. Rule yourself first, and soon you will rule much more. The call to power has been made. The question is, will you answer? An untouchable man does not fear loss. He does not chase approval. He does not beg for recognition. Why? Because his worth is internal, forged in discipline, not borrowed from applause. When the world tries to shame him, he does not flinch. When the mob demands conformity, he does not kneel. When fortune shifts, he does not collapse. He adapts, waits, and strikes again. The untouchable man is not reckless, he is deliberate. His silence unnerves, his calm presence commands attention. His enemies cannot predict him because his emotions do not betray him. His allies cannot fully grasp him because his masks conceal his core. And those who would strike him hesitate because every strike risks retaliation more brutal than they can endure. But here is the paradox. The untouchable man is not loud. He does not need to constantly assert his strength. He does not boast, does not overshare, does not flaunt. He lets his control radiate without words. True power is quiet. True strength is invisible until revealed. The moment you must prove yourself to everyone, you've already lost. To become untouchable, you must live with duality. Outwardly, you are approachable, disciplined, calm. Inwardly, you are ruthless, calculating, prepared for war. Outwardly, you may extend kindness. Inwardly, you measure every relationship like a contract. What value does it bring and when will it expire? Outwardly, you may smile. Inwardly, you are 3 moves ahead. This duality confuses the weak. They cannot categorize you. They want to know, are you kind or cruel? Are you loyal or selfish? Are you humble or proud? The answer is simple. You are what you decide to be in the moment that serves you best. Untouchable men are fluid, never chained to one identity. They are adaptable, but never without principle. The principle is control. Machiavelli warned that a prince must be both fox and lion, cunning enough to spot traps, strong enough to crush enemies. The untouchable man embodies both. He can shift between subtle manipulation and open dominance, depending on what the situation demands. Too much lion and you become predictable. Too much fox and you lose respect. Balance both and you rule. The untouchable man also understands time. He does not rush every opportunity. He does not exhaust himself in constant motion. He knows that patience is as deadly as aggression. He can wait years if necessary, building quietly, striking only when the outcome is assured. Fortune belongs to those who can endure silence longer than others can endure chaos. And finally, legacy. The untouchable man does not live only for the present moment. He builds foundations that endure. His discipline with money secures his independence. His control of mood ensures stability in crisis. His mastery of masks keeps his enemies guessing long after he is gone. His strategies outlive his presence, influencing systems, alliances, and structures. His power is not just personal, it becomes structural. Ask yourself, will you be remembered as another man who chased distractions, wasted time, and died forgotten? Or will you be remembered as the man who built himself into something iron, something immovable, something untouchable? This is the transformation, from reactive to deliberate, from emotional to calculating, from ordinary to formidable. The world will not hand it to you. You must forge it, piece by piece, control by control, cut by cut. And when you reach that point, when you walk into any room and know that no insult can shake you, no temptation can blind you, no setback can break you, you will feel it. The quiet certainty, the cold calm, the unshakable presence. That is when you will know you are untouchable. If you understand, seal it in the comments. I am untouchable. Declare it, own it, breathe it, because transformation is not theory, it is action, and the first action is claiming it.